Welcome everyone to some more Genshin Impact. And today, which I was supposed to do last week, but I got really busy, I'm going to be doing Beidou's Hangout event. And again, I was busy last week. I was going to do this on Tuesday. Whatever the day is, I think the 30th. Let me check. Yeah, the 30th of November, but I got really busy and I had to finish some things that were due on Thursday, and it was a huge mess. So now I am back with streaming this game. We're going to be doing Beidou's Hangout today. And other than that, I am excited for Goro and Nito to be released. And yes, I will be pulling them on stream, although I won't be able to stream it until Thursday of next week because the banner's available at 6 p.m. EST on Tuesday. That and another thing, I don't want to make this stream very short, which means I would just do the polls, because Ito's Story Quest is going to be available when the banner drops. And I want to do that before I pull on the banner on Thursday next week. So that is the plan. I can't wait. But anyways, today we should focus on Beidou's Hangout today. Obviously, I already unlocked it, as I probably already made obvious at some point. I already unlocked it. Also, I obviously have done every ending already. So we're going to be doing this. It has 5 endings, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, go to the Alcor. Oh yeah, and something to point out, as you all can see at the bottom, which might change shape randomly over time, I have put a bit of a goal on my Twitch. Okay, technically it's just a follower goal because the affiliate requirement is 50 followers, but regardless, I am trying my best to be an affiliate, but the only issue is that I am missing the average viewer count, which means I have to have an average of 3 viewers within 30 days, I think. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like that requirement because it's the reason why I'm not even an affiliate yet. So please, if anyone has the time, please help me reach that goal. I want to finally upgrade to affiliate. And, okay, I'm very new to this. I don't know what else to say. But that's why that is there. So, please. Anyways, okay, there's nothing else to do here. Let's go to the Alcor. The Crux? Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to point out probably so many times that they actually added this to the map. So, we could just teleport here instead of flying from the rock. Oh.
Well, would you look who's here? Looks like it's going to be a day to remember. Guys, look who the sea washed up.
Oh gosh, everyone's trying to load in. Is this more hearts than it used to be, or I'm mixing it up?
Ahoy there, traveler! So Captain really did invite you to join the homecoming celebration.
Hey, I heard that you took care of another crisis while you were in Inazuma. Are the rumors true?
That's what I heard too. Thanks to you, Inazuma's Vision Hunt decree was finally put to an end. Well done, traveler.
Captain's got quite the eye for people. She said she was sure that your trip to Inazuma would stir up some waves. And sure enough.
All I wanted was to have a chat with the Electro Archon, or it was a joint effort. I can't take all the credit. Let's not point out the first one. It was a joint effort. I can't take all the credit.
Look at you being so modest. We all know what you did to protect Liyue Harbor.
I've heard that they tell stories about you in Mondstadt, too. The honorary knight. Pretty impressive.
I'd say someone of your caliber would be right at home in the cracks. Right, sailors?
That's right. Wow, I'm getting excited just thinking of being the Traveler's crewmate. Hey, what do you say we arm wrestle?
I was worried you'd be too busy to show up.
Oh, Captain on deck!
Captain, we were just trying to talk the Traveler into joining the crew.
Yeah, come on, Captain Beidou. Surely you've got a way to get the Traveler on board.
Well, she's on board right now for the celebration, isn't she?
Yeah, but just one celebration together is not enough. You know what we mean, Captain.
All right, I get it now. There is something special about you, Traveler. You earned everyone's respect, myself included. So it goes without saying that the Crux would be honored to have a crew member such as yourself.
No doubt about that.
But then again, a hero like yourself doesn't just set off on a journey without some bigger purpose in mind. So should a hero really drop what they're doing just to spend day after day drifting at sea with us? Well, if that were the case, then the Crux, known for always moving forward to the next horizon, would instead be holding someone back.
Right. I guess we didn't think that part through.
Remember, rather than seeking out strong members to join us, you should be focusing on making yourselves the strongest that you can be. If we are powerful, they will come to us. Isn't that why everyone here chose to come aboard in the first place?
Yes? A strong sailor is always looking for a sturdy ship.
I guess I almost forgot the first lesson you ever taught me. Thanks for the reminder, Captain.
Just be sure you all keep that in mind. Now, there's no more need to hound the Traveler, as you were. The Traveler and I have something to discuss. I'm glad you came. Welcome back aboard.
And we got 3 options. We all play there. And so do gosh, these options. I'll just pick this one. You run a tight ship, Captain.
Do I? Oh, to be honest, I don't care for that kind of reputation. I don't want people to see me like some big shot official from Yujing Terrace. But I'll take it as a compliment. I'm glad you see me as well respected. I can't go getting too caught up in my own reputation, though. That's certainly not how the Crux made it to where we are today. As the head of the fleet, my task is to keep us on the right course, no matter how turbulent the seas may become. But then again, the crew isn't usually this riled up. It's not that they're arrogant, they're just bubbling with ambition, that's all. Their excitement today comes from their great respect for you, both your strength and your character. So please, don't take it the wrong way.
Okay, why would I am actually quite interested in Life a Sailor? Or why would I should be taking them for taking me to Inazuma? I guess second one? Why would I? I should be thanking them for taking me to Inazuma.
All good then. Great. Actually, speaking of Inazuma, I think your good luck must have rubbed off on me on the way over. I made an interesting find on the beach shortly after we parted ways. Let's talk about it over there, where it's a little quieter.
Okay. Also, as usual, I won't look at the flowchart until I get one ending first.
So after we dropped you off in Rito, we found a shipwreck nearby. Probably belonged to Inazuman pirates. We searched the wreckage and found a map. At first, I thought it was a nautical chart. I was thinking we might discover a new sailing route if we were lucky. But after a closer look, I realized it wasn't a map of the sea at all. It was a Liyue treasure map, and no ordinary one at that.
Ow, my arm. Is chi active in the area? Is there a great demonic presence in the area? Isn't that technically the same thing? Is there a great demonic presence in the area?
Nothing like that. I just mean that the map was a mess. So it was the most I could do to figure out that the treasure was probably in Lyra. As for its exact location, I have no idea. I'd say I've explored Liyue pretty extensively, but still, this one managed to beat me. So, I thought of you. Nobody can beat you when it comes to treasure hunting on land, right?
I'm gonna say I'm the best center all time while investing. I'll say this one. You know me too well.
Is that right? Well then, it looks like I'm in good hands. Here's the map. See what you can make of it. So, where do you think it is?
I have no idea what this is. I do. I actually can't tell. I think it's. Wait. No, this is, but it doesn't have a bunch of circles. I think it's Goyli Plains, just very badly drawn.
Guili Plains. Huh, I never would have gotten that. How can you tell?
A lot of treasure hunters' intuition. Maybe this? Oh my god, these choices. These feel so complex. Compared against a regular map, the topography of the area most closely resembles the Guili Plains.
Oh, okay then. So you do live up to the hype. I can't believe you noticed that. You sure have an eye for detail. Let's head over there and take a look. I'll need you to help me zero in on the specific location once we're there.
Okay. Okay, go to the plains. I just guessed. Yeah, the village. It kind of does look like the village more, but who knows? Whatever. It'll probably be multiple routes anyway, so it's fine. We are getting all the endings. That's kind of the point of the hangout events. Is getting all the endings. Oh my god, I really can't wait for Goro and Ito. I've been grinding the domain for days for artifacts. I still don't have enough. Because I, as per usual, don't have the best rolls. Anyways, let's go. Oh, it's over here. Let me go get these things real quick. There we go. Okay. So over here.
It should be around here, right? Who are they? Oh, it's a bunch of treasure hoarders. I guess the treasure's for real then. There are quite a few of them. If things go south and fists start flying, stay behind me. I'm more than a match for these amateurs.
Okay. Stop the treasure hoarders who are currently digging.
Keep digging, boys! Once we have our hands on the treasure, everyone gets a share!
You can all hold it right there!
Huh? Who's that barking orders? Do you know who you're up against here? Keep going if you got a death wish! What the? It's... Captain Beidou! Run, boys! Run!
Nobody move!
Captain Beidou, Lord of the Ocean, this is all my fault. I didn't know who I was up against. I don't have a death wish. I swear. I got a big mouth is all. It's always saying things it shouldn't. I swear I'll wash it out with soap the moment I get back. Please, have mercy. Will you spare us? well, spare them, at least. These guys are just trying to put food in their mouths. They'd never hurt a soul. If you need to take anyone, take me. Please, let them go. It was me that disrespected you. They never did and never would.
Is that right? Fine. Seems like you've got a heart in there somewhere, seeing how you treat your crew. I'll let you off the hook this time. Get out of here!
Thank you, Captain Beidou. Thank you.
Wait.
Yes? What else might the merciful and mighty Beidou require?
This treasure's still up for grabs. The Crux fleet honors the rule of first come, first served. You found it first, so name your price. I can't have any rumors going around about Captain Beidou stealing other people's treasure, can I?
Captain Beidou, we wouldn't dare take more from you. Take the treasure as an apology for my foolish words. Please, take it. Please.
Oh? Well, if you insist. I accept your kind offer, and I'll make you one in return. You don't seem like terrible folks, so let me help you get onto the right track. If you want to mend your ways and put all this behind you, the Crux can probably arrange some odd jobs in the port for you. It'd be humble work, but at least it'd get you on your feet and making an honest living. A much better deal than what you've got going now, if you ask me.
Wow, thank you, Captain Beidou. On behalf of me and all my boys.
Right. Let's see what we've got in here. This isn't what we're looking for. Let's look around. Maybe we'll find it.
Okay. Okay, let's check over here.
Those rocks look kinda weird. Let's see if there's anything there.
So we just break the rocks.
Nothing. Let's keep looking.
Oh dear.
What are those hilly trolls digging for? Wait, actually, I've heard they sometimes dig for buried treasure. Let's go take a closer look.
Burst forth.
Okay. No.
Fire it up. Come into being. Huh? Here's back up. Moments of birth.
Damage.
Burst forth.
Oh, right here.
Nope, not here either. Now that we've searched all the places of interest in this area and come up with nothing, you got any ideas?
What is the treasure you're looking for?
It's,
Captain Beidou! Captain Beidou!
Huh? Hey, what brings you back here?
Captain Beidou! Actually, we've just been wandering around nearby. We didn't go far, because we were thinking about what you said and... Well, me and the boys decided we're ready to move away from all of this and get on the straight and narrow.
Oh? Are you sure?
Yes, absolutely sure.
Okay then. But I'll warn you right now, you won't have it easy. It might just be menial work in the port, but in the eyes of the general public, you'll be associates of the Crux. So there'll be a grueling test you have to go through before you can start.
I understand, I understand. Truth be told, Captain, it's only because it's you, the mighty and honorable Captain Beidou. If it had been anyone else, I don't think I'd have listened. And since you made us this kind offer, I'd like to ask, if I might be so bold, is there any hope at all for us to become full members of the Crux in the future? Even the tiniest shred of hope?
Well, there's no place in the crux for delusions of grandeur, that's for sure. But then again, everybody has to start somewhere. So, it comes down to you. If you manage to impress me and earn the respect of my crew, then yeah, nothing's impossible.
Thank you, Captain Beidou. Thank you 1,000 times over. I couldn't help but notice you were searching for something else. It still hasn't turned up?
Why? Do you have any clues?
We heard about 2 treasures, both in Guili Plains. We were still looking for the first one when you found us. So maybe the other one might be what you're looking for.
Where is it?
Not too far from here, but I'm just not sure of the exact location. All the info we got about this treasure came from the black market. The answer's hidden inside a poem which goes like this. Drunkenly I gazed at the ruins long forsaken, and lay beneath red leaves whose branches cast a crooked shade. The dusk sun shone upon the sea as I awakened, but Guyon stood twixt weary eyes and the sight of home they crave. As for the ruins long forsaken part, I do know of some ruins near here. But beyond that line, I don't... I'm just not smart enough.
So a treasure clue hidden in a poem, huh? Don't worry, we got this. See my friend here? If they taught treasure hunting as an art form, you'd probably be calling her Grandmaster. This kind of thing's a piece of cake for her. Am I right?
Let's maybe head to the site first.
Okay then. Let's start by heading to the site and surveying the scene. Maybe we'll find some other clues over there.
Okay, come on boys, you heard the captain. Lead the way.
Go to the ruins long forsaken. So over here. Look at this real quick.
These are the long forsaken ruins from the poem. Apparently they were once full of treasure. But judging by the state of them now, it's probably long gone.
It seems that we need to dig deeper into this poem. Drunkenly I gazed at the ruins long forsaken, and lay beneath red leaves whose branches cast a crooked shade. The dusk sun shone upon the sea as I awakened, but Guyon stood twixt weary eyes and the sight of home they crave. Do you have any ideas?
Maybe gazed at the ruins means the writer wasn't right here, but...
Somewhere you can see the ruins from. So somewhere not too far from here?
The second line means there's probably a red-leaved tree here. Around.
Yeah, and maybe the shadow cast by the tree is supposed to hint at something.
The third line. Perhaps the dusk sun has something to do with the timing?
Oh, I got it! This guy fell asleep and woke up just before sunset.
Dusk and the shadow of a red-leaved tree. I think we can work with that. Let's take a look around. I think we're getting close.
I think the quest glitch. Or am I supposed to find... Okay, there you go. Okay, the game just kind of disconnected right when that happened. Okay. Hopefully we don't get that again. I just switched the scene just in case, because if I logged out, I don't want you guys to see, yeah, anything. Oh, okay. Follow the clues upon look. Okay, so look for a red-leaf tree in this vicinity. It would have to be this. Maybe. 'Cause I don't see anything else that's red-leaved within the circle. Is it here? Oh!
Found it! At long last, the treasure is finally in our hands. A check from the Northland Bank. You really came through. We found the spot in no time. Without your help, I don't think I ever would have gotten my hands on it.
I was suspecting it to be something a little more unique. Where is it right now? Be the first one? I don't know. I was expecting it to be something a little more unique.
To us, this is just a check that you can exchange at Northland Bank for some Mora. But to some people, it's of huge importance. When I found the treasure map, it was tightly sealed inside a small bottle along with a letter. I'll let you read it for yourself.
If you find this bottle, I may no longer be in this world.
Finished?
No. I originally thought that these pirates having their ways and means might be able to send me back to Liyue, which was why I got on board their ship. I never expected that. Forget it. I suppose this is what they call destiny. Before I came to Inazuma, I worried that my old mother's place would be burgled, as she lives alone. So I left a check for all the Mora I've saved over these past few years buried in the location marked out on this map. Please help me retrieve that check and exchange it at the Northland Bank. The Mora will then be yours to do with as you please, save for a small portion that I would like to use to pay my mother's living expenses. Her name is Minamoto Kotomi, and she lives in the Guili Plains. Please do this for me, and thank you. I'm sorry, Mother. I found loads of those sakura blooms that could be found all over your homeland, but it's a shame that I cannot send them to your side. Oh. So, it's the last will of a faithful son.
Yeah. I can't fault him for what he did, but the way things turned out... all I can say is, life is unpredictable. Well, let's fulfill his final wish by taking this check to where it belongs.
Go to the wooden house by the sea. Okay, all the way there. I think we could just walk. It's not that far. Or sprint. Technically walking.
Well, this is it. Oh boys, it's time for your first job. Give this check to the old lady who lives in that wooden hut. Tell her it's a welfare payment from the Liyue Ministry of Civil Affairs.
Yes, boss.
Ahem.
What's up?
I have some sakura blooms that I picked up in Inazuma. I want her to have them too.
I see. But you only find sakura blooms in certain places, right? It must have been quite a bit of work collecting all these, surely. Let's just pick one, huh? One's enough to show that you care. You've already helped me out so much today. Okay, off you go then. Take her the sakura bloom along with the check. And if she asks, tell her, your child in a faraway land sends his best wishes.
Aw. Sakura blooms upon Guili fell. As the sakura from one's homeland sink into the sea, so too the wandering son's thoughts are delivered to his mother. Aw. Also, I realized that there's a save option right here. I never noticed until I saw someone's own stream of Goro's Hangout. Okay, we got one ending. Now we can look at a flowchart. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh boy. Oh, so I guess like the alternate route. Let's go finish all the bottom one. I'm assuming this I have to purposely pick the wrong location. I don't know what that will do, but okay. Oh god, stupid chair. Okay. What? Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna get the bottom route. Something I have noticed is that, like, it seems like these two events, because I seem to... Wait, actually, I probably forgot. But, like, Goro's Hangout, like, when I did Sayus, I was like, okay, I know which choice is the other branch and stuff. But it turns out that it kind of reversed a little bit. Like, the order of the choices is the opposite of, like, where they are top or bottom on the branch. If that makes sense. Like, sure, you'll still go to the bottom branch if you pick the bottom up, but, like, for the top option in the second branch there, it's, like, the bottom one there, so it's weird. I don't know. I probably misremember. Who knows? Oh, the other choice is the village. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. If that's the alternate choice. And the letter does say... Actually, never mind.
So after we dropped you off in Rito, we found a shipwreck nearby. We searched the wreckage. At first, I thought, but after a closer look, I realized, as for, I'd say, so I thought of you. Nobody can beat you. Is that right? Here's the map.
Okay.
So, where do you think it is?
Okay. I just pressed F so quickly. Okay, the map really does not tell us much about what it is. Okay, so we did this, and obviously that goes to the branch. And, so we had to pick the bottom one to go down there, so... Okay. I think it's, Chingsa Village. I apologize if I mispronounce. I never really heard these words too much. Okay, just very badly drawn.
Chingsa Village. I don't see the resemblance at all. How'd you come to that conclusion?
Okay. Intuition. I'll just say the bottom one again, or just a different thing. Chingsa Village has a lot of terraced land, which seems to match the contour lines on this map.
Oh, okay then. I'm definitely a rookie at this. But your word's good enough for me. Time for a trip to Chingsa. You're coming with me, of course. I'll need you to help me zero in on the specific location once we're there.
Okay, whatever this is gonna lead to. I don't know what it's gonna do. Okay. I struggle with choices, okay? $10 away. Oh, what's going on here?
Ah, Beidou! Wow, and the traveler! My goodness, what's the occasion? Just here to visit us old folks once again? It hasn't been all that long since we last had a visit from the Crux. But I'm glad you picked today. You're just the people I need. These two young rascals, They've been arguing with each other non-stop about some petty nonsense or other. I'm too old to get through to them. They won't listen to me. Please, talk some sense into them.
Rest assured, Granny Zhuoshin, whatever the situation is, the Traveler and I will take care of it.
Oh, thank goodness. It's Captain Beidou. You couldn't have come at a better time. You're the voice of reason I need in this situation.
Captain, please, help me get justice.
Whoa, hey. What exactly is going on here? Spit it out, tell me everything.
It makes me mad just talking about it. G here, I don't know if he's got a screw loose or what his problem is. But anyway, he took it upon himself to raise, well, practically a whole army of finches, okay? And now guess what? They fly onto my land and completely destroy at least half of my crops. I asked him to pay compensation, but he refused. Now how is that fair?
Captain, I'm innocent. They're not even my finches. I just thought they looked kinda cute, you know, so I fed them a couple of times. They're wild birds, though.
A couple times? Are you kidding me? That's rich. Really rich. There were 2 of them when you first started. 2 finches. Now you have a whole roof full of finch nests. I swear, every time I come by your place, I think I'm at a bird market. I'm telling you, you are not gonna get away with this anymore.
So, yeah, I mean, they laid a few eggs, made a few nests, but finches gonna finch, you know. These are wild birds. I mean, they'll do whatever they please.
So that's how it is. I think I got the picture. What's your take?
Oh boy. This is a bit strong. I kind of honestly think the first one, because I feel like feeding them kind of led to the bigger picture going on. I mean, you obviously can't control what the birds do, but I mean, how did it technically got to this point from like one? It's like the domino effect. You do some little thing and then it hits the biggest domino after a while. Shoot. Got my legs. Yeah, I'll pick the first one. I think Chi is responsible. He has been feeding them too much, and now they're destroying people's crops.
Yeah, you have a point.
I like the domino effect a little bit.
Gee, let's say I'm interested in buying these finches off you. What would you say to that?
Are you serious, Captain? Oh, that would be great. Honestly, with all this trouble they've been causing me lately, they've become a bit of a burden. So if you're happy to take them off my hands, that would be perfect.
All right, deal. My only condition is, you have to use some of the money to compensate Wenjing for her losses.
Oh, come on. But I never raised them, did I?
Well, you tell me. You took my deal, that means you admitted to being the owner, doesn't it? Otherwise, what gives you the right to sell them to me?
Captain Beidou's right. If you didn't raise them, what makes you think you can go taking her money for them, huh?
Well...
Don't worry. My offer includes plenty left over for you after deducting the compensation. This way, you get something back for looking after them.
Okay then. Okay. I'll pay the compensation.
I hope you 2 are very grateful indeed to Beidou. I dare say no one else will be quite so accommodating toward the people of our village.
Granny Zhuoshin, as you know, many of the boys from your fine village do sterling work for the Crux. The fleet wouldn't be what it is today without them, so please think nothing of it. Gee, Wenjing, I guess you're free to go.
Captain Beidou, you're here.
Pops Shing! It's been a long time. Have you been?
Don't get me started. I've been having some real trouble with that neighbor of mine, Jen. We keep having the same argument, and it just goes nowhere. I heard you were in the village, so I rushed over to seek your help.
What's the issue?
Oh, come with me. You'll see. Let's go find Jen and clear this whole thing up, face to face.
Okay. Gonna run for a little conversation. Alright.
Captain Beidou, you're here.
I heard that you and Pops Shing had a little misunderstanding. So, what's up? Tell me about it.
Jen planted a tree on his property a few years back. I had no issue with it at the time. It's just a tree. But a few years on, it's grown taller than the roof of my house. Every morning when I get up and open the window, I just want to feel the sun on my face. But I'm greeted instead by the looming shadow of my neighbor's tree. It really affects my mood. I asked Jen to cut it down so I could get some sunlight back on my property. But he said no. It's like he's done this on purpose just to drive me crazy.
Captain Beidou, you gotta believe me. I didn't intend to block the sunlight, but there's nothing I can do about it now. It's not just any old tree, you see. That tree was planted there by my late father. Not long after he planted it, he passed away. And just before he passed, he left me with some parting words. He said our family's fortune was inauspicious and we needed something to suppress the bad luck. That's what he planted the tree for. How can I just chop it down? I'll be honest, I spent a few years studying in Liyue Harbor, so I don't actually share his superstitious beliefs. But still, that doesn't change the fact that this was my father's dying wish.
Okay, I think I'm all clear on the situation. What are you thinking?
Oh dear. This is just gonna be a long line of choices, isn't it? Well, in this case, you can't really control a tree, and, I mean, this person didn't plant it in the first place, so... I'm more leaning to the second one here, just because, like, they're not the ones who act... You know what I mean? My god, these kind of questions really make me, like, think. I also did not pay attention how to pronounce the person's name here, because the pronunciation was a little bit different than what I expected. So, I think this person deserves some leniency. I'll pick this second option.
I was thinking along the same lines as you. Look, Pops, I'm not trying to make excuses for Jen, but just try putting yourself in his shoes for a moment. Zhen's desire to protect his tree isn't for money or because he wants to hurt anyone, or for the sake of any superstition. He just wants to honor his father's dying wish. Pops, you have kids too, right?
Yeah, when you put it like that.
Pops, if you can agree to it, I'll have a word with Granny Zhuoshin and see about getting you some money from the relief fund as compensation for having your sunlight blocked. As for the tree...
That sounds good to me. Whatever you think, Captain Beidou. The tree can stay. Some compensation would make me feel much better about the whole thing.
Thank you, Captain Beidou. And thank you for understanding Pops Shing. I'll make sure to trim it back when I get home to let some more light through. It'll be such a relief not to have to worry about this anymore. On a separate note, I remember the Crux last visited the village not very long ago. Is there some special reason why you're back in person so soon?
Nothing all that special, just personal reasons. I'm looking for some treasure.
Huh? Treasure? Wait a second. That reminds me, I saw Chongping and Defu arguing in the fields earlier. It sounded like they were both trying to lay claim to some treasure. I don't know if it's related to the one you're looking for, but anyway, they're probably still there now.
Really? Okay, well, you and Pop Shing can go about your business now. I'll go see what the situation is.
Okay, look for the people.
Huh? Beidou, you're just in time. Defu's being completely unreasonable.
What happened?
I'm not being unreasonable, Captain. I got Chongping to help me plow my land because it's the busy season. And then, what do you know? He plows up a treasure chest. Way I see it, it's my land, so the treasure belongs to me, right? I think it's a pretty clear-cut case.
You say that, Defu, but what you're forgetting is that I came to help you plow your fields out of the goodness of my heart, and you haven't paid me a single mora. It was also my plowing that turned up this chest. However you cut it, surely I'm entitled to at least some of the treasure.
The domestic drama just keeps coming today. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm no legal expert. I think she's better suited to handle this kind of stuff, or I don't know. I don't know if this is like a branch, because this sounds like a branchy route. But obviously either option, we're not the one making the choice. So, like, the actual choice here, so, I want to see what happens if I pick the bottom one, out of curiosity. Well, I'll pick the bottom one here. I don't have your clout. You should be the one making the call.
Okay, I think I'm up to speed here. If you two really want to take this further, I can get a legal expert from Liyue Harbor to adjudicate. As for the costs, I'll cover them. What do you think? Neither of you seems thrilled about this course of action. Okay, so plan B. I'll be straight with you. The reason I came here today was to look for some treasure. Chances are it's hiding right there in the chest you're both fighting over. So, how about you two stop fighting over it and do me a favor by handing it to me? Of course, I'll be indebted to both of you. If either of you ever needs anything in the future, the Crux will not hesitate to lend you our support.
Captain, you're far too kind, really. Indebted? That won't be necessary. If you want this chest, you go ahead and take it.
Yep, totally agree. If only I'd known you were looking for this chest. You should have said something. I would have delivered it to you personally to save you the trip.
It seems like it's been quite a busy day for you, helping us settle all our little quarrels. Come on, let's go to the village. I'll rally the masses. We'll get some good food and good drink and have a good old get-together.
Don't worry about the chest. I'll carry it over.
Okay, that was basically the same choice in two different ways. Okay, wait until nighttime. Okay, let's do that. Take part in the village banquet.
What a fine day today has been. Beidou has solved an awful lot of problems in our village.
She sure has. Without Captain Beidou, that compensation payment would have bankrupted me. Yeah, and if it weren't for Captain Beidou, I'd still be arguing with Pops Xing.
Here, here. We have plenty to thank Captain Beidou for, I'm sure. I propose a toast in her honor.
To Captain Beidou. Cheers!
I couldn't ask for more than the chance to get everyone together and drink to our heart's content. Cheers! Phew, that really hit the spot. Want to get some air? The view in this place is pretty good. We can take a look through the contents of that chest while we're at it. Chongping placed it by the water wheel.
Are you sure you haven't had too much to drink?
Are you kidding? Beidou can handle her liquor. Come on, let's go.
Okay, go to the water wheel where the chest is.
So, I've been thinking. Everyone seems to trust me enough to let me have the final word on their disputes. But don't you think some of my solutions can be a little stupid? You can laugh, I don't mind. Take Chongping and Dufu's wrangling over that chest, for instance. I had no clue who it should belong to, so I just came up with this stupid idea of taking it for myself. At least that way, neither of them would feel like it was unfair. But, I mean, I'm no Ningguang. I can't make a perfect deal every time. And I'm no Yanfei either. Not all my judgment calls are going to be 100% fair and square. I am Beidou, and my strength is in trading favors.
So the captain of the Crux just hands out favors to everyone all the time?
You think I should be more selective? Some people think their favors are so valuable that they need to plan out how and when to use them to maximize the return on their investment. They view the favor as a bargaining chip. Others see doing favors as a burden, not worth anything in monetary terms and prone to getting you locked in a cycle of constantly returning the favor back and forth. But the way I see it, favors are what keep people connected to one another. Over thousands of years, the people of Liyue have created bonds between each other by doing someone a favor here and asking for a favor there. This means that no individual is truly on their own out there. When someone falls down, there's an invisible net made of human connections, waiting to catch them and get them back on their feet. Over the years, I've come to owe favors to a great many people, and many other people have come to owe me one. These are the countless bonds between us, like so many fish in the sea. And they're the reason that the Crux and I have survived the countless hardships we faced. I believe that if there ever comes a day when the world is overrun by monsters, Liyue's legal system collapses and the land is thrust back into an age of war, it's these bonds that will see us all through the dark days ahead, until we come out on the other side.
So the reason you asked for my help with finding the treasure today was so that you can owe me a favor?
I'm not saying that. But either way, we have a pretty firm bond between us already, don't you think? Was this wind brewed in a winery? It's making me lightheaded. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Something we were literally just talking about.
Oh my gosh, the first choice. It's the meme. If you forgot, that means it's not important. Oh dear. You did mention that treasure chest.
Oh, yeah, the chest! Oh, I got so immersed in our conversation that I forgot all about the main event. Come on, let's open it up and see what's inside.
Ew.
Oh, that's it? A whole lot of nothing? It's not exactly what I was looking for, but you know what? I don't care. The fun part was going on a treasure hunt with you. Come on, let's get back to the party. Tonight, we go big before we go home.
between us. Community and cheer are the web that connects human hearts. Oh. Okay. I love that, like the choice that was basically the... It was like the meme where it's like, I think I'm forgetting something. It's like, if you forgot, it was probably not important. Yeah, you're right. Insert what was actually very important here. People use that meme a lot to play so much in Genshin already. Okay, we got 2 endings now. Now we just need to... Yeah. Okay. So, to get to the top branch, somehow. I think I know, but I actually don't. Me little silly. Okay. Obviously, so when we teleport here, we're just gonna be completely in the thing again, so I'll just skip through. Oh god, it's raining.
Well, would you look?
Ahoy there, Trav. Hey, that's what I heard.
Captain's got quite the eye for people. She said she...
Look at you.
I've heard that they tell...
That's right. Hey, what are you...
I was worried you'd be too busy to show up.
Oh.
Captain. Yeah, come on.
Well, she's on board, right?
Yeah.
All right. So it goes without...
No doubt about...
But then again, so should a hero really... Well, if that were the...
Right.
Remember, isn't that why everyone...
Yes?
I guess I almost forgot the...
Just be sure...
Oh god, it's literally raining in the background.
I'm glad you came. Welcome back aboard. Do I? I'll take it as a compliment. I can't go getting too caught up as the head of the fleet might, but then again, the crew isn't... Their excitement today comes...
Okay, here we go. I just like being silent and listening because I want to know, it's like, okay, is this going to be when the dialogue cuts off and it obviously tells me this is the choice point? Okay, so seems like the top one is the way to go here. I got my arms. There. Okay. So, yeah, the bottom went down to the bottom branches, so we had to pick the top option here. Why would I? I'm actually quite interested in the life of a sailor.
Oh, is that so? Well, it just so happens that we're doing some recruitment and training for new crew members while we're back. It'll be a first-rate chance to learn the life of a sailor. Since you're interested, why don't you come along and experience a sailor's life firsthand? I'm curious to see if you'll take the sea by storm in the same way you have on land.
Okay, my glasses are making my head itch. Let's pick the top. Oh gosh, the thunder. Alright, Captain. Show me the ropes.
Good. Come with me. I've got something interesting for you to see.
Can I at least wait until the thing is like not raining anymore? Please stop storming. Okay, it's clearing up. Good. Also, let's check this. Just a little bit of 5 primos.
Chief Mate Juza's breaking in the newcomers, but I think we can spare you the tedium of that. After this, the new crew members will be arranged into 2 teams for more specialized training, according to their own aptitudes and the needs of the fleet. One team will learn comprehensive survival skills, including maritime emergency rescue, marine meteorology, psychological counseling, and so on. They will serve as the support team for the fleet, ensuring safe navigation. That's why we call them the Shield of the Crux.
What are these choices? Let's pick this one. What's the other team? The Spear of the Crux?
That's right. You catch on quick. As one might expect, we call the other team the Spear of the Crux, because they'll be learning about naval warfare. They'll make up the armed portion of our crew. Also, they're responsible for handling the fleet's cargo deals. So, what do you think? Which team is for you?
I feel like we'll do both of these if this is branching stuff, so... Let's, pick the top. The Shield of the Crux.
As I expected, you have a will to protect others. There are two main subjects that the Shield of the Crux focuses on: survival knowledge and entertainment. As I was saying earlier, survival knowledge includes prevention of injuries and diseases at sea, navigation and cartography, basic meteorology, etc. You can go learn about these skills from Yinxing, Huixing, and Liushi. They're all seasoned hands in their respective fields.
There are crewmates who know even more than you, Captain?
Each sailor has their own strengths and weaknesses. I'm no rookie, of course, but you shouldn't underestimate the knowledge of the crew. If there's anything I'm most proud of in the fleet, it's my people. Go and get to work. I'll have some questions to test you later. I look forward to seeing how you do.
Okay. I learned from Yinxing?
Hello, traveler. I'm Yinxing, the Crux's surgeon at sea. Whenever a sailor has a health problem, they come to me. I deal with it all, from seasickness and common colds to amputations and everything in between.
I'd like to learn about treating injuries and illnesses at sea.
Oh, I presume the captain arranged this, correct? All right then, let's begin. First of all, let me ask you this. What do you think is the biggest danger that all new crew members face?
Getting seasick?
That can certainly be a problem at sea, but it's not the biggest danger. The most dangerous thing for a newcomer is to underestimate the dangers of life at sea. Oh, I have seen many new crew members who see themselves as young and fighting fit and have no regard for safety. They think that since they are tough enough to look after themselves on land, they'll be fine at sea as well. Those are the ones that always end up in the sick bay. Everyone should know that being a sailor, especially on a long voyage, is a brutal job in an unforgiving environment. We have to face malnutrition when we're short on supplies, all kinds of injuries and diseases that the harsh ocean weather can bring, and even the psychological problems that can arise due to isolation and the lack of entertainment. To make things worse, the lack of medication and treatment options at sea can result in even minor health problems becoming serious, or even fatal.
Hence, the need for amputations?
Oh, you probably thought I was joking, right? Well, that's not surprising. Most newcomers think the same way. But hopefully you now realize that with a little extra precaution, a lot of these things can be avoided. Well, I think that's enough for you to think over for now. Is there anything else you would like to know?
I think we could ask these two questions. Got my legs. What's Beidou's view on this?
Captain Beidou? Well, out of everyone I've met, she probably values people's lives and safety the most. Although I'm just a doctor, Beidou has given me the full authority to send any newcomers who I don't see as fit for service off the ship until they are ready to come back with the right attitude. Every time we're stocking up before a voyage, medicine takes top priority. I'm even allowed to choose the suppliers, regardless of the price. We have adequate budget for medical expenses. Do you know what Morgrubber, our bookkeeper, calls this? A significant financial risk. But Beidou knows the importance of having a healthy crew. That's why she has authorized me regardless. She places her full trust in me and believes that I can solve these problems. Of course, I have proven her right. So, to answer your question, that's how she thinks. Is there anything else you would like to know?
What happens to the crew members who have had limbs amputated?
Are you concerned about them? No wonder Captain Beidou thinks you're different. There must be more to you than just your strength. If you can convince Mora Grubber to show you the books, you'll see there is a regular fixed cost titled Convalescence Payments and Incapacity Support for Injured Crew Members. Regardless of the fleet's income, those who have fought alongside us will certainly receive their compensation every year. Some of those that have returned to land have started small businesses, while others have chosen to go out traveling the world. The money is intended to allow them to live their lives as freely as possible. I'm sure being based on land helps a lot with that too. Still, we can't pretend like it solves everything. They call them life-changing injuries for a reason, you know. But if nothing else, it's good to know that while Captain Beidou is in charge of the Crux, no one will get forgotten. Is there anything else you would like to know?
Thanks. I've learned a lot.
Well, my pleasure. Okay, let's leave it there then. Be sure to take good care of your health.
Okay. So, why is sing? Okay.
Ahoy there, lady! Sorry about earlier, Traveler. We were so caught up on getting you to join the fleet that we didn't notice we were going a little overboard. Good thing the captain stepped in.
It's okay. I was hoping to learn a little more about cartography.
Oh! Well, in that case, you have come to the right person. I'm not just blowing smoke. You're looking at the most talented navigator in Liyue Harbor. I'll start by introducing some chart reading essentials for new sailors. Feel free to interrupt if you have any questions. Let's start with what to look for when you get a set of complicated charts. First, you should always look at any indicated shorelines, islands or reefs, water depths, hydrological conditions, and other hazards. With these features in mind, you can answer the basic question of, can I chart a safe course through this area? Visually, nautical charts are a little unique. Unlike land maps, most charts do not have a fixed scale, which means that it can be hard to precisely determine the exact distance between 2 points. The most advanced nautical charts come with a supplementary chart, which has different colored lines marked on it to indicate distances. It's worth mentioning that under my direction, the Crux is using these advanced kinds of charts. Some cartographers mark out other points of interest on their charts, usually with their own special symbols. If they don't leave any accompanying notes, they can be very difficult to interpret.
For example, charts inherited from the previous navigator?
Not only those, we have tattered and torn charts that we've picked up from all over the place. To be honest, it can be quite a challenge, even for me. Some of these charts are really old and have symbols that I've never seen before. But if we don't decipher them, we will certainly miss many secrets of the sea. Fortunately, we have the captain with us. She managed to find some ancient books on semiotics that I can use to study the charts further. I don't think anyone other than our captain could manage to get these kinds of resources. Old charts and ancient books on semiotics are not the kinds of things that are sold in your average marketplace. Oops, I've gotten off topic. Well, that just about covers the basics of chart reading. Is there anything else you would like to know, Traveler?
Do you have experience drafting nautical charts?
Drafting charts? That's certainly a more advanced topic. To be honest, I've only attained a smattering of knowledge in that area. The charts we are using now are just revised versions of the ones left by the previous navigator. So my mapping experiences have been primarily limited to updating our charts to reflect changes in the sea. I think you can ask Captain Beidou more about cartography. One time, the fleet sailed into an uncharted area by mistake. It wasn't long before we turned the fleet around and returned the way we came out for fear of potential hazards. But Captain Beidou still managed to draft a simple chart of the area we sailed through for if and when we explore the area again. Incredible, isn't it? I was amazed to see that the captain could even do cartography.
Oh my god, this question, no. We had to ask it anyway. Then why does she need you as a navigator?
Because I have the talent, and she doesn't want to let it go to waste. She treats the whole crew that way. I initially had the same question myself. After all, in many fleets, the captain also works as a navigator. I couldn't understand her reasoning at the time, so I asked her. She just laughed and told me to wise up, saying that even Rex Lapis never fights alone. She wants everyone on board to master their role, so that the crux is not floating on her alone. That way, if the day ever comes when she's no longer with the fleet, we will still be able to sail onward without her. Captain Beidou may seem aloof and even act careless sometimes, but the truth is that she's very considerate of everyone on board. Is there anything else you would like to know, Traveler?
Nothing else. Thank you.
My pleasure. A friend of Captain Beidou is a friend of mine.
Okay. Oh, they're up there. Oh gosh, my stamina. Let's stop a little bit. Recover. Why are they up here? Nope. I was trying to climb the thing again. I thought I would automatically climb by walking into it. Okay, we're almost there, at least to this. Okay. Here we go. Why are you all the way up here?
Hello, Traveler. Are you here to learn about marine meteorology?
Wait, how did you know? Oh gosh, mouse.
In my line of work, I've got to have a pair of sharp eyes. I saw the captain showing you around the training grounds, and then you went to see Yingxing and Huixing. So I figured that she probably wants you to get to know the life of a crew member.
Looks like Beidou got the right person for the job.
Okay, let's get started. First, I'll introduce you to the basics of meteorology. Marine meteorology basically means keeping tabs on the weather as well as other ocean phenomena, so things like sea fog, storm surges, water spouts, and so on. These are all potential threats to safe navigation. Luckily, whatever weather might be coming up, there's always some kind of sign that gives it away in advance. Take water spouts, for example. They're caused by high-speed rotating winds on the surface of the ocean. They can engulf large ships and do immense damage. But if you know that water spouts can only form in an environment with high temperature, high humidity, and large clouds, then you can be well prepared. You will be even more alert if you also know that the presence of winds blowing in opposite directions with a significant difference in speed is a direct precursor to the formation of water spouts. And most importantly, if you spot a small white vortex emerging from the clouds, you should immediately notify the crew to steer clear of what's ahead. So there you go. Those are the warning signs of water spouts. I am proud to say that over the years, I haven't let a single one sneak up on my watch.
Sounds like you have a lot of experience.
I've got to confess, I learned almost everything I know from the captain. All the stuff about meteorology that I just told you about, she's the real expert. do you know the small fishing village next to Wangshu Inn? I heard that when Captain Beidou was a kid, she worked there fishing. Later, she made her way to the harbor where she struggled to make a living. Growing up in an environment like that, it's no wonder she knows everything about the sea. When I first came on board, I lived every day wallowing in doubt, wondering if my former career as a sailor was all just a waste. But as I gradually learned some new things and became more experienced, I finally realized what makes the Crux so great. After all, not every fleet has the uncrowned Lord of the Ocean as their leader. I feel lucky just to have joined.
Thanks for your time. I think I've learned all that I need for now.
Find me anytime if you want to know more.
Right. Word back to Beidou. Let's go down here.
So you've already finished talking to the crew, huh? I thought it would take you a while longer. So, what did you think?
Let's pick this one. It was a little hard, but I can handle it.
Now you know that the Shield of the Crux is not such an easy job. Let's get started. First of all, life on the sea isn't always plain sailing. Injuries and illnesses happen all the time. But what is the single biggest danger facing crew members?
Underestimating danger.
Is that your final answer? All right, on to the second question. As you've just learned, the fleet plots its route using nautical charts. The charts used by the Crux have additional charts attached. The supplementary chart has lots of lines in various colors for added reference. What is the purpose of these lines?
What is this option? I forgot. I forgot. I actually forgot this one. I actually forgot. Oh, this is so bad. This?
Okay, interesting.
That's probably not right.
Now, last question. On longer voyages, we have to be especially careful to avoid certain weather hazards that pose a threat to the integrity of the ship and the lives of the crew. For example, waterspouts. So my question is, how can we reliably predict waterspouts so we can avoid them?
Okay, not these. Strong winds I think it was this one. The white vortices. I don't think it was a ring. I think it was this. The presence of dark clouds and strong winds in opposite directions, plus white vortices in the clouds.
Okay, those are all my questions. Do you want to know how you did? Now then, let's see. Out of these 3 questions, you got a total of 2 correct answers. Not bad. After all, you didn't have much time to prepare. Plenty of people get through their whole training and still don't do this well. It seems that your survival know-how is now up to the standard required of qualified crew members. Time to move on. Next up, we have some Shield of the Crux recreational programs for you.
I don't want to say the bottom one. Why learn recreational activities?
You need to realize that being out at sea might be fun for the first few days while everything's new, but before too long, Looking at the same old sea every day and being so isolated from everything can really cause people to struggle mentally. That is why regular recreational activities are an absolute necessity. We offer a lot of fun courses for our newcomer training, including fishing, photography, chess. Oh, and thanks to Kazuha, these days we also offer poetry and music appreciation, as well as communal wind listening. Each newcomer has to participate in at least one, so that they've got some way of keeping themselves occupied at sea further down the line. Of course, if you'd prefer wrestling sea monsters with your bare hands, that can be arranged.
You're talking my language? I was just kidding. I got my arms. Yeah, stretch. I was kidding.
Well, for today at least, let's stick to the training schedule drawn up by Juza. If I remember correctly, it should be photography today. Come on, I'll show you.
Okay.
Listen up, everyone can go back and call it a day. The photography session has been postponed.
What's going on here, Juza?
Oh, Captain, there you are. Well, Captain, the photography teacher just sent word saying that she's fallen ill and doesn't want to risk coming in case she keels over in class.
I see. That's quite unfortunate.
Hello in chat. Okay. Captain, if I may, I know little about photography.
Oh? Quite the multi-talented one, aren't you? In that case, why don't you help us out and lead the class today?
Yeah, unfortunately, the original teacher canceled at short notice, so there's no time to schedule anything else instead. It would be great if the Traveler could step in as the teacher for the day.
It's up to you, Traveler.
It would be my pleasure.
Great, it's settled then. Juza, let's muster everyone over here to meet the new teacher.
Yes, Captain.
Oh dear, what is going to happen?
Okay, that's 1, 2, 3. That should be everyone. Take it away, Traveler.
Wanted to drop by and say hi. Have some steps to do. Okay. Okay, back to the game. Before I begin, I do have one condition.
Oh yeah? What's that?
Since this is a photography course, there has to be a subject. We will need a model.
Fair enough. It seems like you already have someone in mind. So, who will it be?
Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh dear. Okay, oh, I got my hair. Is it away? Should I pick Beidou? I don't know. Ow. Anyways, this game really has to throw choices like this at me, doesn't it? I kind of want to pick Beidou, but also it's like, should I just pick the NPCs? But also, I want to pick Beidou. Let's do it.
Me? Well, we could do that, or... Guyunstone Forest looks extraordinary today. It'd be a pity to not capture the scenery for posterity. So how about we snap Guyunstone Forest for today's class? Then there'd be no need for a model.
Camera shy. I could relate.
Come on, Captain. We talked about this. The photography class is supposed to be portrait photography. Have you forgotten? Scenery looks nice at first, but it gets boring after a while. I bet it'd keep the crew more entertained if we got them learning portrait photography so they could record moments in each other's daily lives. Those were your exact words, Captain.
Were they now? Strange. I don't seem to remember anything about that. Well, then in that case, how about Huixing? I bet she's perfect for the camera. Or Fuzhong. Or Mora Grubber. Even little Yue.
Seriously, Captain? Little Yue? You're just trying to wriggle your way out of this. This isn't like you. You are the captain, after all. Of all of us, you're the best suited to being a model.
I agree. You were the one who invited the Traveler to be the teacher, so you should cooperate, Captain. Besides, Captain, you've never had your photo taken. It's high time you got one. You know, a heroic and striking kind of picture. We can even use it to promote the fleet during recruitment.
Real funny, guys.
Oh dear. Trust your crew, Captain. You are the best candidate.
Well, if you say so. I'm not one to spoil the fun. So, what do I do now, Traveler?
Strike a pose over. Got my legs. Got my legs. You can just strike an epic pose.
Like this?
You look a little nervous.
You're kidding, right? I've never had my photo taken before, but something this simple shouldn't be a challenge for me. It must be the lighting or something. You've got it wrong. And
Gosh, you can see the shadow texture kind of glitching out there. What is it doing? Oh yeah, you can see it in the video. Oh, whatever, it stopped. Never mind. Anyways. See? Perhaps you feel uncomfortable with so many people around?
I never said that.
I guess we can go somewhere with a better view.
You mean go somewhere else, then bring the final photo back as teaching material?
Sounds good to me. That's a good idea, isn't it, guys?
The lighting may still be a problem. But I'm open to persuasion. If you have a suitable place in mind, I can consider it. Just to be clear, I won't necessarily agree. It depends on the place you have in mind.
Sure. Oh my gosh, these choices. I need water. Ugh. Everything spilled on my desk. Give me a second. No. God, why does this always happen? I already have an idea what choice to pick. I just need to clean up. This is literally the second time and the second day this has happened where I was drinking water and it just spilled everywhere. Okay, I think there. Okay, I already made a choice like while I was like thinking. Okay, so I want to pick the left one here. How about Yaguang Shoal? You can enjoy the ocean breeze.
Well, Yaoguang Shoal is pretty relaxing. But if I want to enjoy the ocean breeze, why don't I just stay on board the Alcor and enjoy the breeze with my crew? That'd be more fun if you ask me.
Alright, that does make sense.
So, I think we can just forget the whole modeling thing for now. Sorry about that. I guess I'll owe you a favor.
Oh dear, I failed. I tried. Oh wow, what is... Oh, I had to... Well, that is actually... Okay.
Listen up, everyone can go back and...
What's going on here?
Oh, Captain,
Okay, let's
there you
try
well,
this again.
Captain.
I see. That's quite unfortunate. Oh? In that case,
Yeah, it would be great if...
it's up to you, Travel. Great, it's settled.
Yes, Captain.
Okay, we actually have to get sending. I don't know.
Okay, that's 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah? What's that? Fair enough. So, who will it be?
I guess we'll keep going down the dialogue options we did. Just pick a different location. Might help. I got my nails. Okay, I never expected.
Me? Guyunstone. So how about...
Come on, scenery looks... Those were your
Let's
exact...
try this route again.
Well, then in that... Or...
Seriously, Captain? You are the captain after all.
I agree. Besides, Captain, we can even use...
I don't know.
Well... So, what do I do now, Traveler? Like... this? It must be... the lighting or something. You've got it wrong.
Perhaps you feel uncomfortable posting here? Let's click this other one just so both of these have check marks.
I never said that. You mean ghost?
Sounds good.
But I'm... just to be clear, I won't...
Okay. Obviously not this. Okay. I feel like if I fail again, we'll just we'll just do the process of elimination. I don't remember what this is. On the top of the mountain, or let's try the mountain and see what happens. And if we obviously mess up, we'll just obviously try the last option.
A view overlooking Liyue Harbor, huh? Sounds nice, but... on second thought, I don't have any love for a lifeless gadget like the camera. I'd prefer to be having fun together with my crew. I guess I'm used to that rowdy bunch. So, I think we can just forget the whole modeling thing for now. Sorry about that. I guess I'll owe you a favor.
So, what else is supposed to be done? Because this has to lead to an ending. Oh gosh, no. Oh, we're gonna be here for a while.
Listen up, everyone!
What's going on here?
Oh, Captain, there you... Well, Captain...
I see. That's... oh? In that case?
Yeah,
That's the other
it would be
option.
great if the...
It's up to you, Travel. Great, it's settled.
Yes, Captain.
Can we at least see the other choice though? Like if we keep going down the same route, because I'm curious on what that last choice response
Okay,
is.
that's 1, 2... Oh yeah? What's that? Fair enough. So, who will it be?
Okay. I feel like one of the NPCs is obviously would be technically the answer, but like we do have one more choice, so at least like let's see that response there. Just in case. Like, I am curious. I'm not looking up the answer.
Me? Guyunstone. So how about...
Come on, Captain. Scenery... Those were your
well, then... Or...
Seriously, Captain? Little you are the captain.
I agree. Besides, Captain, we can even use it...
Okay.
Well... So, what do I do now, Traveler? It must be the lighting or something. I never said that. You mean...
Sounds good.
But just to be clear...
Let's at least see what this does. And, I will have to figure out... Like, just click all the choices and figure it out.
The fishing village near Wangshu Inn? That place is deserted now, isn't it? How do you even know that place anyway? It's tiny. I don't think I've ever seen it on a single map.
Okay, we at least got a little progression. Now, apparently when I click my mouse, it really looks like it's being picked up so easily. Okay. What's a treasure? Well, yes, but... I can't oh my god, this is the entire stream where I can't pronounce anyone's name. Because I'm not good at pronouncing, Eastern, names. She told me you once lived there.
I'm surprised that you'd remember such a trivial detail. He's right, though. I did live there for a while. And now that you've mentioned it, it's given me the urge to go back and take a look around. Well then, let's go. We can take this opportunity to pay my old home a visit.
Okay, that choice actually worked this time. So yeah. It's over here, but we'll have to teleport here.
It's certainly seen better days. It was never that impressive, but at least back in the day, it was a lively village and home to several families. I wonder how long these last few old houses will remain standing.
So what exactly happened here?
Nothing as dramatic as you might think. A few small incidents occurred, and then people began to leave. Come on, let's take a walk around. People used to call this place Downriver because the villagers apparently moved here from a place called Upriver. With them, they brought their knowledge of fishing, which had been passed down from generation to generation. I learned a lot from them when I was here. Now Upriver is long gone, and Downriver is all but deserted. It won't be long before no one even remembers what these places are called. Tu Zhong. Zhong. I barely remember this name.
It's probably because you were little at the time.
You're right. I was only about 5 or 6 years old when I first arrived here. I was homeless and had to wander around the streets. I remember finally managing to find half a rice bun, but then a stray dog jumped out and snatched it away from me. Half a rice bun was not something I was willing to give up so easily at the time, so I chased it all the way to this neighborhood. Then a few fishermen saw us running and stopped me. They were kind enough to give me some food. Seeing me stop, the dog also stopped running. But straight away it keeled over and never got up again. Maybe it was too tired, or maybe it had starved to death. I went over and saw that the dog still had the half rice bun in its mouth. It didn't let go even at the very end. Poor thing. Had I known the dog was so weak, I would have let it take that half rice bun.
That's when the villagers here took you in?
I could tell they were wary of me at first. I was the dirty little kid who had just chased a dog to death over some scraps of food. But I got lucky. The village chief took pity on me and brought me to their home. That's how I ended up staying here.
What made you leave later?
Do you know what the name Beidou means? Come on, I'll explain along the way. About a year or two after I arrived, the village chief fell ill during the winter and passed away. During that same period, the harvest was getting worse and the fishermen's catch was getting smaller day by day. Without the village chief to handle the situation, people began blaming each other. There were even rumors that some families had been overfishing and leaving nothing for the rest of the village to catch. But in the end, they all turned on me, saying that they shouldn't have ever taken me in. They said I was bad luck. They pointed to how that dog died on the first day I arrived. Next thing you know, the village chief dies, and then all the fish die out. They said I was a living curse, and the downfall of the village was all my fault. I told them that I didn't understand. I'm not a curse, I'm just Beidou. Then some of the villagers started shouting, and drove me out of the village. They shouted, "Nando controls life. Beidou controls death. Beidou controls death." Before then, all I knew about my name was that it had something to do with the stars. It wasn't until then that I realized that Beidou was a constellation. And the Alcor, one of its stars, was an omen of death. Here we are. This is the old house of the village chief. I bet he never expected that the little girl he took in would grow up to be seen as a curse that brought about the village's total destruction.
If you're cursed, then I think I am too.
What do you mean?
The animal Archonsnosis was taken after I arrived in Mondstadt.
Is that all?
The Geo-Archonsnosis was also taken after I arrived in Liyue.
And let me guess, you got to Inazuma and the Electro-Archonsnosis was taken as well? Well, you seem to wreak havoc on a grander scale than I ever could.
Does that make you feel better now?
Oh, I get it. You're trying to convince me that I'm not cursed. I appreciate it, and I'll take it. Let's not forget that the people whose names stick around are the ones who emerge from the stormy seas unscathed, and the ones who get swept away in the wind are the fledgling birds who couldn't hack it. I, for one, have never encountered a storm I couldn't weather. But your journey's far from over, isn't it? Just remember, there's no telling what else you might encounter in this vast world. So if you ever find some idiot trying to brand you as a scapegoat just because you're the one who lived to tell the tale, tell them Captain Beidou demands to have the honor along with you. Remember, you'll always have the captain of the Crux to back you up wherever you go.
I suppose we're just two scapegoats looking out for each other.
Two cursed scapegoats banding together for survival. Sounds like a recipe for disaster, but at the same time, I kinda dig it. I'm lucky to have a friend like you. Okay, it's time to get back to our photography. Right, teacher?
I don't remember what we were here for. I thought you might have. The wording of these choices, I don't know. It makes me unsure. I said you might not be in the mood.
Come on, let's not waste any time. Get it done while you can before I change my mind. So, do I need to strike a pose?
However you prefer.
All right. How about this?
Take a picture. Oh, let's see here. Camera's been adjusted. Okay, let's take this off. Okay.
So, is it done yet? Please don't tell me that it looks weird.
Not at all, it's perfect.
Show me.
Only if you promise to give it back.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Now give it here. Yes. I see. All right. On behalf of the Crux, thank you very much for your photography class today. You've been an excellent teacher, and I couldn't be more satisfied. Now, as captain of the Crux, I am exercising my official right to requisition this photograph for future promotion and recruitment purposes. So I'm afraid I'll be holding on to this. That's fine with you, though, right?
Photography class for 2. Laughter breaks the solitude of the long silent village, and the lonesome scene grows pleasant once again. Ow, wait, oh boy, that took a bit because I failed the thing twice. That's fine, because we were able to go back. What? Wait. What? The branch is here? Wait, what? Oh boy, I'm confused. Or, wait, what is... What? Sorry, I'm just like looking at the chart here. I'm like, I'm lost. What? How do I get this? Okay, we're gonna do... Oh gosh, I actually have no idea. Sorry, I'm just like trying to figure out how could I get this one? This is okay, I honestly have no idea how to get this one at all. It's like I had to pick an immediate choice. Where's this? Oh, and there's Senator Singh. Chat with Beidou. So, just want to look at the plane again. It could be related to the other choice, but I'm not sure how that would lead here, so...
Here we are. I bet he never expected that the... What do you mean? Is that all? And let me guess. Well, I appreciate it. Let's not forget that I, for one, that your journey's far. So if you ever find some idiot, remember, you'll always have the captain of... I kinda dig it. I'm lucky to have a friend. Okay, it's time to get back to our photography. Right, teacher?
It doesn't sound like there's any different choices, so that's why I'm like thinking. There isn't a difference? I guess I have to go through the other route? Or what?
Come on, let's not waste any time. So?
Oh. The dialogue cut off there when I clicked. Is any of these better?
Alright. How about this?
What is the option? What's the plan? No, that...
here we are. I bet he never expected that the little. What do you mean? Is that all? And let me guess. Well, I appreciate it. Let's not forget, I, for one, that your journey's far. So if you ever find some. Remember, you'll always have the captain. I kinda dig it. I'm lucky to have a friend. Okay, it's time to get back to our photography. Right, teacher?
I'm just trying to figure out the choices. I got my arms. I'm like, oh no, do I have to pick the left option? Oh god, wait, throat. Do I have to pick the left option? I don't know why whenever my throat gets weird, that sound comes out. I apologize if that's weird.
Come on, let's not waste any time. So, do I need to...
Do I have to pick the left option just to do this? I said I would get all the events, cuts, things, but not like this. Oh my god, the dialogue cuts off, so I'm like, is this related to choice? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna regret clicking this, I bet. But I need to get all these things checked off and make sure I know what if it does lead to the header. I hate this. Not my words, I'm just gonna click. Jeez. I don't want to click this, but I have to, probably.
What? The nerve! What do you think this is?
Not my words, I just need that picture unlocked.
I don't want to do this whole modeling thing. Hey, cut it out. No more pictures.
I didn't want to click it, but it was the only way to get that ending. Oh my god. It's like, I had to get that ending because I need to get all the hangout memories. Oh dear. That was awkward. Oh dear. Obviously not something I'd actually pick, but I had to just to get this build in. Oh dear. Okay, I don't know what this does. I don't know what this would lead to. I feel like it would somehow lead into the same... Because there's only one more ending. Oh dear, that was a messed up ending. We can do this other side. I think it'll just connect to this. I feel like it will. So let's do this from... My goodness. Oh boy, I didn't want to click it, but the game was like, well, in order to get this ending, you actually have to do it. And I'm like, why? Anyways. Oh yeah, I should probably have mentioned, unlike the other hangouts, I actually rarely saw any of the hangout memory photos this time around for betas because more people were excited for Gora's hangout. So I had no idea what to expect except for like one ending.
Chief Mate Juza's breaking it. After this, one team will they will serve as the support team for the fleet. That's as one might also there was what?
Okay, let's pick the bottom one here to see that branch. The Spear of the Crux.
You truly are an adventurer at heart. Let's start with the fundamentals for any armed crew member. Basic boat handling. Follow me.
I just had to drink some water. God, that was a mess. Oh dear.
These are some older skirmish boats that we keep on the Alcor as backup. Although they've been made redundant by newer models now, they're still fully kitted out. They're perfect for when we need to do simulated battles as part of crew training.
My god, this option. I thought I'd be steering the Alcor in a battle simulation.
Disappointed? So this isn't quite on the scale that you had in mind, huh? To be honest, the Alcor going into battle is the last thing I'd ever want to see. In fact, out of all the confrontations we've ever had, almost all were resolved by negotiation. Only when negotiations fail do we consider deploying our armed fighters and skirmish boats, and they alone are enough to handle most situations. The only reason the Alcor would ever need to open fire would be if it were a fight to the death. The Alcor serves only two purposes: to deter or to destroy. We are an armed fleet with a strong sense of justice, not war-hungry lunatics. We're very careful about determining when to use force and exactly what level of force to use. All of this to say that mastering a small attack craft is quite enough for new crew members. Do you have any experience piloting small armed vessels?
This one's actually more true. Sure do. I can even sail and fire at the same time.
You mean you can do the jobs of a helmsman and a gunner simultaneously? Wow, that's quite an achievement. Even in the Crux, there are few who can do that. Seems like you're a natural. In that case, I'll skip the basics on how to operate your craft. The goal of this exercise is simple. Steer your skirmish boat along the prescribed route and return here within the time limit. You can start when you're ready. I'll be waiting here so I can observe your skills.
Okay. Okay, there we go. Load. Get to the boats. The boat. Complete the boat handling challenge. Right in the right spot. Oh, I got it. Ah! Oh boy.
Nicely done. That was a joy to watch. Perfect timing on the turns, you kept your craft stable on the straightaway. It was like watching a well-rehearsed show.
I've had a lot of training in sailing.
All right. It's high time I introduced you to some of the more serious business that the Crux takes on.
Oops.
Come with me. We're going to Liyue Harbor.
What the heck was that noise? That was not on my computer. I swear. Let me see where this is going now. Okay, there you go. I was like so confused. Somehow this could lead here. I'm assuming if we fail the little test. That's fine. We at least like got this filled in. Hopefully this is a normal, less making someone angry. Like that would hurt. I was like, oh dear. I'm not one to pick such an option, which was why I was like, I don't want to pick this, but I need to get all the Hangout memories.
You may be aware that as an armed fleet, the Crux is kinda like the maritime equivalent of a guard for hire. We work as an armed carrier, earning our keep by successfully delivering the goods entrusted to us from A to B. Aside from that, though, there is also one other important way we make income.
I have no idea what the option here could be. I feel like no, but I don't know. This? Bounties for capturing pirates on the Ministry of Civil Affairs' wanted list? I actually have no idea.
Actually, it's trading. In certain kinds of goods.
Oh. Well, that was none of the options, I think.
Hey, my hotshot accountant. Nice of you to join us.
Cut it out, boss. Juza sent me here with a message. He says preparations are now underway. If you give me the all clear, I'll head straight over.
Okay. Be careful.
What's your bookkeeper doing here?
Well, she has something to take care of. Mora Grubber was right, though. The other important side to our business, the less official side, is doing exactly what merchants do. Importing here, exporting there. The only difference between us and regular merchants is that our transactions aren't entirely above board. You'll see what I mean by that shortly. I'm taking you to see one such transaction for yourself. Come on, let's go meet our trading partner for the day.
Nay.
Fresh seafood! Fresh seafood! Catch it while you can!
What do you have?
Hello there! Here at Nay's Professional Fishmongers, we've got everything you could ask for. So what do you need?
I want a bass head with all the teeth removed. If there's a single tooth in there, I don't want it.
Huh? You know bass have pharyngeal teeth, right? In the throat? How do you expect me to get all those out?
Then I'll have a bass trunk with 2 swim bladders. Again, if it's short by 1 swim bladder, it's not the bass I want.
You're not making this easy for me. 1 bass means 1 swim bladder. Afraid that's not up to me.
Okay, then I'll take a bass tail with scales that are yellow on the outside, black on the inside. Also, it's gotta have a total of 81 scales. That's 7 times 7, no more, no less.
Oh my god.
What kind of fish scales are yellow outside and black inside? You sure this is a fish you're talking about? In any case, you can try all you want, but 7 times 7 is never gonna get you 81. Pardon my asking, but you're not a fish expert, are you? I'm sorry, ma'am, but I'm afraid I don't have any of the things you're looking for.
Didn't you say you have everything we could ask for?
Look, I'm a professional. So are most of the people I serve. I can accommodate anything they ask for. Seems you two are amateurs. So I'm sorry, but you'll have to go someplace else.
Anywhere you'd recommend?
Like I said, Nay's Professional Fishmongers is for professionals. For amateurs, the place to go to would be Wise Amateur Fishmongers.
I bet you're wondering why that guy was saying he didn't have what we wanted. That was just the first step in the transaction to confirm our identity. The real deal will come later.
Okay. That was really strange, though. I was like, what? second, guys. I have to check something. Okay, never mind. I thought something was wrong with my phone, and I was like, it's nothing, actually. Oh, here it goes.
Fresh seafood! Fresh seafood! Come take a look!
Is this Wise Amateur Fishmongers?
That's the one. We have all kinds of amateur stuff here. The more amateur, the more of it we got. What would you like?
We'd like a bass head.
No problem. Ours are all toothless, mind you.
And a bass trunk.
Oh, no problem. I'll stick an extra swim bladder in there for you. On the house.
This is really weird. I don't understand it.
And a tail.
Sure thing. I'll paint the scales yellow on the outside and black on the inside, so you can tell at a glance, this ain't no ordinary fishtail.
Ooh, okay. Do the scales add up to 81 or 7 times 7?
If it's 7 times 7 you want, I can do you 81, 138, or even 648. It's up to you.
Great. I like your style. We have a deal.
I appreciate your patronage. Please, take your order to our warehouse manager over there.
Don't you have the fish here? Oops.
A real amateur if I've ever met one. Proud to have you as a customer. No, we don't have the fish here. All fish sold at Wise Amateur Fishmongers are still swimming in the sea. Once we get the order in from the customer, we go fish it out for them. The warehouse handles that side of things. Pay first, then we bring you the goods. That way you get the freshest catch.
Okay. This is so weird. Listen, I don't understand what is even happening. I'm just going along with this. Hello.
Are you two here to collect your order, huh, Beidou?
Yes, sir. We're here about that bass.
I didn't expect you to come in person, but we still need to follow procedure. The bass you want is not a standard specimen. Our fishermen need to wait for the right moment to catch it. You know the rules, I take it?
Of course.
What rules?
Oh, well, as you know, timing and location are everything when it comes to fishing. You have to wait till all the conditions are just right. That means the tide, the moon, and the wind. So, let me ask you this. When will the tide come in?
The fishing song will sound out at midnight.
How drunk will the moon be before the party's over?
It won't stop while the Star of Death shines.
I see, yes. Which way will the sea breeze be blowing?
The breeze should be bound for Guyan.
All right, then. Well received. I'll go and make arrangements.
Great. I think that wraps up everything we needed to do in Liyue Harbor. Let's head back and wait for the delivery.
What did all those riddles mean?
The 3 people we just met are our business partners. Nay's professional fishmongers and Wise amateur fishmongers are just cover names. The bass, obviously, is the code name for the goods. The numbers of teeth, swim bladders, and scales all represent different specifications. Meanwhile, the conversation I had with the warehouse keeper was the instructions for the deal itself. Let me translate it for you. Tonight at midnight, the deal will take place in Guyan Stone Forest. The Alcor will wait there as long as needed. As for what the actual goods are, well, you'll see tonight.
Okay, that at least explains a lot of my confusion. This is also mysterious. Is it as shady as it seems?
What if I were to say yes? What would you do then?
Pretend I didn't see anything. I like the options of persuading wrong. And think about. Pretend I didn't see anything.
Thank you. But don't worry, everything will be fine. I deeply value you as a friend, but ultimately, you're not with the Crux. I definitely don't want to cause you any trouble just because you hung out with me. So rest assured, we haven't broken any laws. At least not today.
Okay, go to Guyan Stone Forest. Just all the way here. Oh, conveniently right next to teleporter point. Waypoint. Wait till early morning. Okay. Let's wait right. Oh. Let's wait a literal minute.
Captain Beidou, you gave me quite the surprise when you showed up in person earlier today.
Well, my friend is visiting, so I wanted to show her how the Crux handles some of its important business.
I see. You two must be close.
You got that right. Now, down to business. Have you brought the goods?
Yep, all here. Please, feel free to take stock.
Stop! Nobody move! We have received certain information pertaining to a potential illegal business transaction at this location. Apologies, Captain Beidou, but I'm going to need to inspect those goods.
Okay, I wouldn't want to pick the first ones. That sounds like really mean inner thoughts. Just ditching. Oh no. Should I distract him while Beta retreats?
Oh? An illegal business transaction, you say? Well, all the goods are here. If you have any suspicions, please inspect them at your leisure.
Captain, everything's been checked. It's just a bunch of potatoes, flour, and so on. And all the paperwork checks out too.
Huh?
Everything's been checked thrice over. There's not a single contraband item here. The paperwork was approved by the Ministry of Civil Affairs and the tax declarations are all in order.
Looks like you've managed to clear everything up. I suppose we can put this down as a simple misunderstanding.
Yes, apologies. This was a mistake on our end. Come on, let's go.
Bravo, Captain Beidou. This was rather ingenious.
Wait a second. What's going on?
Seems like your friend still has a little catching up to do.
I know you have a lot of questions. Come on, take a walk with me and I'll lay it all out for you.
Well, I'll leave you both to it. Captain Beidou, I look forward to doing business with you again. Take care.
You probably thought that there was some sort of nefarious business going on behind all the secrecy today. The truth is, that was exactly what I wanted the Ministry of Civil Affairs to believe. What you might not know is that I, as the leader of the Crux fleet, and you, the great hero of Liyue Harbor, have both been on the Ministry of Civil Affairs watch list for a long time. In other words, whenever you or I crop up in Liyue Harbor, it almost always draws their attention. Not that there's any animosity behind it, mind you. In their words, it's a security precaution to prevent people like us from causing unnecessary trouble. Oh, I have no qualms about that. They're just doing their job, keeping the land safe. But how does that saying go again? Ah, yes. Sometimes the closer you are to something, the less you can see. Did you figure it out yet? That's right. Mora Grubber, the accountant. With you, me, and a few sacks of potatoes and flour serving as a front, the deal she's overseeing on her end should go off without a hitch. After all, the Ministry of Civil Affairs sent the Millilith to us. Looking at the time, it should be any second now. Look, that's the signal. Tonight's real deal is officially done. Do you have any more questions?
I have a feeling Ningguang is not so easy to fool.
You're right. Never underestimate her. But as long as we don't take things too far, she won't look into it too closely. She knows that neither you nor I would do anything to harm Liyue. In any case, there's another higher level watch list at the Ministry of Civil Affairs above the one we're on. It's top secret. Even I don't know whose names are on it. But I do know that the individuals and organizations on that list are the ones the Qixing are really wary of. I've gotten off topic. On some level, Ningguang and I are actually business partners too. Reason being, I'm the only one who can get her some of the more obscure treasures she wants.
What is the real deal?
It's complicated. All you need to know is that what might be easily attainable for some people can often be a lifesaver for others who can't get their hands on it. That's where we come in. It's as simple as that.
Wait, what? I wasn't paying attention. I don't think it matters. Which one I picked? Do you mean, is there weapons? I don't know, they're both difficult things to come by. I'll pick the top one because I kind of forgot. Oh, my memory's kind of bad. Do you mean weapons?
You still have some important things to take care of, don't you? As long as you don't know what I was referring to, you'll be safe. So, I'm sorry, but I can't tell you for now. Of course, if the day comes when you've traveled to every corner of the world, found your sibling, and neatly tied up all your loose ends along the way, you're welcome to come back here and I'll tell you all about it. You'll always be welcome in the Crux fleet. I hope I get to see you on board again someday.
Once everything is over, Beidou hopes to see you on board again someday. Aw. So that is it. Oh dear. It's a bit of a mess after, like, unsure how to continue with one of the points. Okay, that's all the branches done. Okay, we have completed the hangout. The last one I had left unfinished. Oh dear. Oh, I want to break these things. It'll probably be a bit loud. I don't have a claymore wielder on, so I'll just do this the old-fashioned way. And that was Beidou's hangout. It was interesting. Oh my god, one of the endings. I did not want to pick that choice even for a hangout memory, but I had to get the memory to 100% the hangout. So I did it. But yeah, like I mentioned, I didn't really know too much about this hangout because more people were excited for Goro's hangout. So naturally I didn't really see the hangout pictures from Beidou's hangout. from Beidou's Hangout, so I actually had like very much little idea of what it's gonna be about. So I at least have seen like a couple of Goro's Hangout images already before I did his Hangout. I tend to see the pictures early because people share them all the time. So that's kind of why. Let me go break some rocks. Oh my god. My memory is a little bad today just because for the moment I will have to finish the rest of my semester classes. Thankfully, the remainder of the things I have to do are open note stuff, so I don't really have to focus too much, if that makes sense. But I still need to finish everything by next week, since it's all due next week anyway. And also, that's a good thing, because if I get it done early, we can... Okay, I won't stream on Tuesday. I mean, okay, I'll stream on Tuesday, but not Genshin, because Goro and Ito's banner are available. I keep saying Goro and Ito banner because, I mean, it is Goro and Ito banner. So yeah, that'll, okay, let me look at the days. It's available in 5 days, 3 hours, and 21 minutes. So if you do the math, that is, in my time zone, Tuesday at 6 p.m. EST, Eastern time zone. Eastern Standard. You know what I mean? I can't speak today for some reason. But yeah, that is what, that's when the banner will be available. However, as I said earlier, I'm doing that on Thursday instead, so it's actually 2 more days. 7 days a week from today, basically. Because, I want to do Ito's story quest before I even pull for him. And Goro. So we must wait, unfortunately. But it'll be worth it. Oh my god, I can't wait for Ito. Oh my god, his character teaser
Coming to be
was it made me all like smile because he's, oh my god, he's so lovable. Also his teeth, he has fangs. Yeah, I can't wait for the Geo boys. I can't wait so much. So yeah, we should be getting those character demos soon, so I can't wait to see those. Very excited. And yes, obviously I'm getting them both because I pretty much said I pull for the Genshin guys. With the exception of 2, because I actually ended up having to miss their banner, unfortunately. Or, you know, failed the 50-50 and couldn't really pull any more on the banner. Maybe one day I will actually get them. And by them I meant Child and Zhongli. But yeah, but anyways. I can't wait for Goro Nito. I am trying to get some artifacts, like, that I think would be good on them based on what we already know, officially. But, unfortunately, it's not the greatest, grind. I hate this thing.
Windblade.
There we go. Anyways. So yeah, from what little we know.
coming to be.
And Yeah, as you all know, artifact grinding is not fun, naturally, because the substat stuff usually, or main stat. I have a bunch of extra artifacts I can use, but unfortunately I don't want to use them as the set. It's the set effects that are the issue, because I want to grind for the 4-piece, the new domain that came out in this update. Here. Yeah. I got some decent pieces, but in the long run, I will definitely have to replace them. So, yeah. I got like some other things prepared, thankfully, so. Although I think it's mostly prepared for Goro because his hangout kind of gives us an idea what his talents are. I just kind of grinded every single kind of talent book and hoping like one of them is good for Ito, or I'm not good. Well, yes, but I mean like is the thing he actually needs for his talents. I'm hoping. I'm hoping like what I've gathered is actually like the one he uses. Trying to find more ore places so I could just sit and talk for a bit. But yeah, I can't wait for Goronito. Also, Max Middleman is amazing as Ito. I love his performance. Especially the character teaser, because I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to hear him again because I don't want to watch the trailer several times. I ended up watching this teaser so many times instead. Oh yeah, and also, I know some of you will probably say, or wonder, yes, I am aware that we essentially heard Ayato, Kamisato Ayato, in that teaser. Am I gonna talk about that much? No! Because, well, one, it's Ito's character teaser, and two, Ayato, like, we don't even know what he looks like yet, so. I will say the choice of voice, like, with the choice they made, they definitely have an idea of, like, they definitely have an idea on, what kind of appearance he might have, because usually with, like, when you design characters, like, you would think of voice choice, okay, I can lift.
Come into being.
Like, how do I put this? So basically, as someone making a series, I can't come up with a voice for my characters unless I've gotten their appearances and personalities finished. So if you think about it like this, they probably already have an idea of, like, officially by the actual developers, they already have an idea on what Ayato could look like, so obviously the voice choice given that we just heard.
Don't get too close!
So that's just me personally thinking for, like, because there's, like, if you think about it logically, if they already kind of have a voice for him, the actual developers probably already, you know, have an idea on what they'll make him look like. And we already kind of have an idea of his personality based on the voiceovers and all that. What? Okay, I found out that the birds make that noise, and that was really weird. Anyways, where's more ore veins? Oh dear, I dropped frames at some point during the stream. Lovely. Oh, and also just a reminder, okay, this has obviously been said, and I said it on Twitter as well. Voice actors are under NDA, so please do not ask or tag them, hey, do you voice so-and-so? And, because that is obviously an NDA breaking question. And if people don't know why NDA is serious for voice actors, if a voice actor breaks an NDA, they're essentially pretty much fired from their job. And they will get replaced. And if I'm right, I think there was a voice actor who broke NDA, and that was kind of the reason that this whole situation happened at the time. It wasn't with this game, it was a different game. And yeah, basically they got replaced in future appearances. Oh no. I'm stuck. This is what happens when you mine at the wrong angle. Okay, that was not intentional. I just glitched. That's the second time that's happened while playing this game. Anyway, so basically, from what I know, yeah, there has been a case where an NDA was broken. I'm not quite sure if they're completely, like, you know, like, out of the job for being a voice actor overall. But I do know that if it's not, like, completely, like that,
burst forth.
They basically cannot ever work for that company ever again. So, basically, long story short, please don't make the voice actors break their NDAs. Or even try to ask such NDA breaking questions. Because if people complain why the voice is different later, it is probably because you made them break the NDA and thus lost the job. So, please don't. Also, as someone who will be a voice actor, I will very much won't be breaking NDAs when that happens. So, do not ever ask such questions if I end up being a voice actor either. And also, speaking of which, I have been reading a lot more frequently, especially during quests on my own, if I'm not streaming the quest. Usually, okay, like, for example, if there are future world quests, or, you know, a good example right now, the Banton Songo case files, I have been reading the dialogue on my own, so I could get some practice in. Oh gosh, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten lunch yet because I just went and did the stream. It's okay. It's okay. I got it. But anyway, so the point being of why I had to mention the NDA thing. NDA. Which is, if no one knows, non-disclose agreement. It's because, okay, allegedly people are saying that the voice... Okay, I say allegedly because it probably is confirmed. I just refuse to believe it until all the languages confirm their voice actors. But, Ayatsu's voice is apparently confirmed in 2 languages. And obviously not for the other 2. I'm not quite sure why some teams are like that. Like, oh, they're not allowed to say it, but these guys are. It's probably an agency thing. But yeah, basically, it's because of that. People are, like, trying to tag voice actors. Like, hey, do you voice this person? I'm like, guys, don't do that. And also, there is a case where, like, the voice actor will never, ever be announced. Although I feel like for the case of Genshin and playable characters, they will obviously be announced. Just not yet. It'll probably be when they will actually be playable in the future. So, like, come on, guys. You could wait, like, 3-4 months for something. I don't know. To be honest, we know nothing about, like, when Ayato will ever be playable. So, yeah, it's up. It could be any... Okay, obviously we have, like, Yunjin and Shinha, like, revealed. And obviously, based on pattern, they're 2.4 characters. So, anytime after that, after 2.4 will be Ayato. Just prediction-wise. Based on, like, the fact that we have Yunjin and Shinha revealed, so... Oh yeah, and also, I am gonna pretend we have zero confirmation on any of the voice actors. And by that I mean the other languages. The other, voice actors in the other languages. Because I refuse to acknowledge it completely until all the voice actors are confirmed. Because, like, it doesn't feel right. It's like, you know, it's like, because we still don't have, like, you know, because of the obvious reasons. Because, like, I'd rather wait until all, because, you know, when all of them are confirmed, we could be like, oh, wow, yay, and all that. So, yeah.
Fire it up!
Oh, come on. Elemental burst. Also, what else? Also, I don't want to think too much about Ayato personally. Yes, I will admit I am excited for him, as he is going obviously be another Genshin guy that I will pull for in this game. Like, I mean, as I've told you guys, I practically vowed to only pull for the Genshin guys, the Genshin males. if they're like a 5-star featured character, like it's a 5-star Genshin male banner, like the character, you know, like right now for Albedo, like is what I mean. Or they're a brand new 4-star and on
Don't get too close.
Yeah. I think I explained this a million times. I am frozen. Okay. Basically, okay, I think I put a command in. Maybe it works this time. Let's see. Okay, I don't know if I have to get stream elements to activate. And that's it. Okay, that's one way to explain it. I will never pull on 5-star girl banners unless they have a new 4-star boy on the banner. So, like, for example, like how I got Toma.
Check this out.
Like, I pulled 50 times on Huto's banner to get him, mainly. So, yeah. That's an exception to, like, the vow promise I made to myself. And also, because for instance, I didn't, like, before that banner, I didn't pull on any banner since Kazuha. So, I really have been enforcing it. For myself. I will say I was tempted to get Kokomi because I really like Kokomi despite what other people have said. But I had to keep strong with my promise. So I unfortunately had to skip her. So yeah. I'm also thinking about it and it's like... Also, like obviously after we are able to get Ito and Goro, like speaking of the Inazuma boys, we still have two of them we haven't seen based on the voiceovers, that we have. And obviously one of them is Kamisato Ayato. And at this point, it's very obvious he'll be playable, considering he's in the voiceovers. Like, playable with a unique design, because he appears in the voiceovers for other characters. And not only that, he is literally mentioned everywhere. And he is the one character that we're all, like, excited for. But of course, I'm not too focused on him, since it'll be a while. We don't know when he'll be available, like, in the game as a playable character, or appear as, in cutscenes. Who knows? We don't know when, but, you know. And, there is also this other character which we don't, unfortunately, talk about so much. And I forgot the last name, but his first name is Haizo. So, this. If you guys could see that there. I forgot his last name, but it starts with an S. And as someone randomly, like, pointed out, if you put his name and last name, first name order like it is in the game, the initials is SH. Like Sherlock Holmes, which is a little interesting that someone has pointed out. But anyways, that's not really the point of what I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is he is another Inazuma boy we have heard of. And we're definitely certain he too will have a unique design because he appeared in multiple character voiceovers. So that definitely means he will definitely be a playable character. Just because that's been the pattern of characters mentioned in voiceovers and other things. Such as the bulletin board and all that. And also, as of right now, because who knows when Heizo will ever be, like, talked about in the future. Someone on Twitter made a fan, and I repeat, a fan design which is unofficial, not official, design of Heizo. Like, their interpretation of what he might look like based on the voiceovers. And I'll admit, I really love it. I'm trying not to get too attached since, you know, at any time in the future, we're obviously going to get what he really looks like. So, just to say, it's fan-made, not official. So, because, like, what he'll actually look like may be very much different in the future. So, yeah. But yeah, he and Ayato are two Inazuma boys we have, like, a lot of voiceover dialogue about, but haven't seen actually in the game yet. So I'm excited for both of them. And also, I can't wait to get Goro and Ito. I cannot wait. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Ayato and Heizo. But again, I'm not going to focus too much on them because that'll definitely be way later in the future. I will say I'm very much interested in what kind of weapons they'll use. Like, you know, weapon-wise, like sword, bow, claymore, and polearm. I want to include Catalyst, but we still don't have a Catalyst boy in this game for some reason. Why? It's like, please give us a Catalyst that is a guy in this game. Like, it's the only weapon type that hasn't been, like, given to a guy in this game. Like, a lot of people are predicting Scaramouche, but, like, if he's ever playable, but who knows what could be the case for him. If he'll ever be playable, that is. I don't know. He's a mysterious individual. Especially since he is a prototype of, okay. Fun. Okay. I hope we get a Catalyst, a male Catalyst character in the future. I hope so. Like, please, can we? I would love to see one. But now that I think about it, I remember I saw someone, like, make this absolutely cursed edit of, like, a character using, like, Hokumi's animations. And I'm like, oh gosh, why do I remember that? Oh, and speaking of which, it also reminded me that I did see a very cursed post where they made a, okay, I don't know how they did it, but they basically used Ito's character model from the game and animated him with Sayu's animation. Sayu being the little ninja girl that I actually got on Hutel's banner. And it was so strange because of the way, like, he obviously in that video clip, he had Sayu's running animation, and also, yeah, the Sonic the Hedgehog role. It was interesting. Like, it was so cursed, but at the same time, there was something about it that I actually liked, and it was the fact that it was pretty funny to watch. Yeah. I'm exhausted. I should wrap it up soon. Since I'll very much just continue talking about this, a lot of things on basically when I do Ito's story quest and actually get Goro and Ito off the banner. How many donuts do I have? Oh, 845. Okay. I still have to edit a couple videos after this, but that's fine. That's fine. Especially since I'll have them rendering in the background while I, yeah. Let's go back to Inazuma, because why not? I cannot wait. My god, I will have to be careful with checking Twitter when Ito's story quest is available, because I don't want to get spoilers of what happens in it, and especially how it starts off. Like, how are we going to meet Ito for his own story quest? Like, how is that going to happen? Oh yeah, I just remembered one reply I saw, like, while I was reading Twitter, like, reactions, like, people's reactions on Twitter from, like, related to Ito's character teaser. I liked how someone commented, it's... Oh yeah, Toma obviously also appeared in it. And I love how someone's response was, Toma watching Ito get thrown into jail for the nth time. Which is some random number time it happened. And I found that amusing, especially since it's like, well, that's very much likely what happened anyway. I think what's just amazing is that if you read the bulletin board stuff around the place, it seems like it implies that Ito's been at least in jail 3 times for whatever, like, craziness he's been up to. And also, when I do pull for them, I might be around this general area. Yeah. Definitely be around... We'll definitely be around this area when I pull for the boys next week. Cannot wait. But anyways, I think this is about a good place to wrap things up here, since it's been like 30 minutes or something since I finished the hangout, Beidou's hangout. So yeah, obviously I did Beidou's hangout, which was pretty much just, you know, the whole stream, basically what the stream is. And it was a fun experience. Again, I didn't like getting that forced memory. It was so bad because I was like, I would never say that. Realistically, I would never say that. But I had to pick it because it was the only way to get that ending. And we had to get all the endings. I was so sad. But yeah, we got that ending. It was interesting. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We did get to learn a bit about her. I know we have the character stories and all that. Like, but it's been a while, so, you know. And also it's nice to hear the stories from the characters themselves, after all. So yeah, that was a pretty nice hangout event, other than that one ending that I didn't want to do. It also took a bit to figure out what the correct choice was for, like, one of them, because I was so confused and unsure about what to do. But we made it through. I just had to skip the dialogue 2 whole times just to get there. It's okay. It's fine. What else? I think that's mostly it for this session, other other than, you know, mentioning I did the grind for some ore veins, as you all saw moments ago. And, yeah, I think that's it. So, next time should be when, Goro Anita's banner is available. Not on day 1, unfortunately. It'll be 2 days later, instead, since I actually have to be alone in my house to, do it. Or, you know, when no one's going to talk over me, like, in the background, in real life. So, that's, yeah. I can't wait. I really want to get them. But first is Ito's story quest. And then we pull on the banner. We're definitely guaranteed. I have been saving a lot since, for ages. And I still have a lot of leftover from the other banner, so. I know I'm guaranteed, but who knows, like, how 4 stars. How long it'll take to get a 4-star. Anyway, so we'll save all that for, when, I actually stream. As I still have some things to do today, so I will have to leave no matter what anyway, so I could finish all that work. And then I will be, like, I will pretty much not have anything else to do. Like, next week after I get everything done. So, yay! Can't wait to get everything done, so I can have at least the whole month off. Well, month as in 30 days, roughly, maybe a little bit more, until things get busy again for me, so. It's gonna be a lot, but yeah, you know. The life of a university student is a chaotic one. So anyway, thank you all for watching. And I'll see you all next time.